Gold prices rose to a 9-month high yesterday. This is amid fears of a global recession and also hopes of slower rate hikes from the Federal Reserve. Meanwhile, central banks set a new record of gold purchases in 2022, according to the World Gold Council. The world's central banks bought about 400 metric tons of gold in the third quarter last year. Purchases of gold have reached a level not seen since 1967. But why are central banks buying so much gold? A Mises Institute article explains that it's to protect their balance sheets. We talked to the author of the article for an in-depth explanation. And now joining me now is Daniel Lacalle to talk about why central banks are buying gold. So, Daniel, I was just reading your article on the Mises Institute site. So you talked about one reason why this is happening is because of a possible digital currency. Maybe just on this point, expand a little bit.
A lot of the central banks globally are now loss-making because they have been buying bonds and even ETFs or mortgage-backed securities that are losing money right now. So many of them are loss-making, and they need to purchase gold to prop up the balance sheet, to improve their reserve base, but also because the threat of a digital currency means that a lot of investment banks that used to treasure US dollars or euros are scared because with the introduction of digital currency, the risk of even decreasing the purchasing power of the currency even further than what it has happened in recent times is very high. So those central banks, particularly Asian, are looking at the risk of holding too many dollars and too many euros that could lose their purchasing power much more rapidly with the advent of a central bank digital currency. As such, they look to add more gold, which ultimately gives them a higher cushion and a better reserve of value.
Essentially, what it all comes down to is the stability in the value of gold. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about it, the gold is the only decorrelated asset and one that has proven to be a reserve of value for centuries. So for many decades, central banks have reduced the percentage of gold in their asset base and increased the percentage of equities, bonds in the so-called quantitative easing period. But with the collapse of markets, especially bonds and equities at the same time in 2022, what has happened is that the fragility of those assets and the fragility of the asset base of central banks has come to the fore. This is very evident right now. And as I said before, they're loss-making. So gold ultimately is proving to be the stability factor that many central banks require.